And we're rolling. Alright. So, last time when we left off with our party of adventurers traveling through Chult, they had just finished a combat encounter with a group of these creepy psionic monkey creatures known as Sioux monsters. And so, standing amidst the carnage from that battle, little monkey bodies strewn about the place. I think we see like the first shot of the episode, so to speak, is just kind of like a slow zoom on Artis as he's kind of like staring at this big four-armed gorilla that he formed from ice. And his eyes kind of go wide and he looks down at his hand. And there's this look of fuck, I shouldn't have done that. He looks over at Dragonbait, who just kind of like makes eye contact, and let's see. I think you smell ham again, and yeah. Then Artis kind of sighs, says, "All right. Well, should we keep moving?"
What about that thing? And I'll point at it.
Oh, that. He like snaps his fingers, and the thing just like pff, turns to snow and settles down on the ground.
That's a nifty trick.
Yeah, he says, yeah, I try to use it sparingly.
It may come in handy later on. Unfortunately, those things didn't seem to be too bad.
Yeah, well, you know, just, yeah. He kind of seems like he's at a loss for words right now and just starts walking in the direction that you guys were going.
Can I see, like, is he worried that he did that, or, like, I guess, what is, can I,
You can make an insight check.
yeah, that, alright.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a general sense of I shouldn't have done that.
Okay. I'll say, Artis, can you do that often, or was that kind of, expensive? That seems like a pretty useful spell.
He kind of pauses for a moment as you're pressing the matter, and he kind of looks back over his shoulder and says, I can do it a set number of times, usually per day. It takes a while to regenerate, but this kind of thing is the reason why I probably shouldn't be traveling with you guys for too much longer.
Really? What, did you piss off some big mage or something?
I wouldn't go so far as to say that. They, well, lots of theys really are kind of jealous of what I can do, and well, they're trying their best to track me down, and yeah.
I'd be a liar if I said I wasn't a little jealous, but not in that sense. Don't worry, I'm not gonna murder you in your sleep or anything.
Well, that's reassuring.
I only do that to my enemies. So far, you've been nothing but helpful, so...
You see him kind of like look over at Dragonbait again. The ham smell like refreshes.
I just kind of hold my hands up in a disarming fashion.
Okay.
When you grew up where I grew up, you can't trust anybody. Your best friend could turn on you and stab you in the back.
That doesn't sound like a very nice place.
No, definitely not. Let's hope we never encounter the same people that I grew up around.
Yeah, and Hardis just very, very slight nod, and again, kind of turns back to face the way that you guys were traveling, and kind of tries to lead the party on.
I will follow.
Okay. So, you guys were getting toward the end of the travel day at the end of last session. And so it's like maybe another hour or so before you find a good place to set up camp for the night. And you're able to get a long rest in.
Hooray.
Yep. So-
Stratos shoves his tail in Fib's mouth.
What?
Because Fib was snoring.
Yeah. That was a sleepy girl.
I would have Fib know that I do have cure wounds now.
Good.
That's what really matters.
What did you get rid of for it?
Purify food and water.
What? Isn't that one important?
Not really.
Not when I can create.
You're right.
Not when we have a jug full of mayonnaise we can use to get all our new.
I hope mayonnaise dies.
Saddest adventure ever. surviving on leech-infested river water and mayonnaise.
I can create water. It's okay.
This is the worst adventure I've ever been on.
I
Okay.
haven't been surviving on mayonnaise yet.
It could always be
An
worse.
Anticipation of the worst adventure I've ever been on.
Okay, whatever you do, just don't kill Scorn, and then we can keep eating nice jungle.
Alright, fine. It's also a super sad night because I have the last of my expensive candy that I'm gonna eat.
Is that the lint stuff?
Yeah.
I have dark chocolate lints.
I
It's only
spit on your
7%.
dark chocolate.
Don't spit on my dark chocolate, then no one can eat it.
I take it back. I might want to eat it later.
Okay. So, you guys get your long rest in, and you wake up the next morning to another rainy day.
Yay!
Yeah, it's not like oppressively hot, it's just wet. And so you head out from camp. Attempting to follow this kind of zigzagging path that you've set for yourselves through the jungle. And let me just make sure you guys don't get horribly lost.
Just a little bit lost.
That's okay.
And the entire day goes by uneventfully. So, another long rest. If you were still missing any hit dice at all, you have all of them back, because you've gotten 2 of those things in. And another day. Sometime over the course of the evening, the rain...
Get rid of the squiggles on the map.
The squiggles?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
I think it's mine. Oop, no,
This one's
that one is not mine.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So, sometime over the course of the night, the rain comes to a stop. And you wake up, and it's already swelteringly hot. And dry.
Dry is fine.
So, yep.
We're not in a... Is there dew chilling around?
Like Mountain Dew?
Yeah.
I mean, you're kind of by some mountains. But,
Very
I mean, there might be a little bit.
Okay. Well, I can pull some off and flick them at Fib.
Just
Aw.
spritzing her.
Yeah.
Like a water bottle on the spray setting.
Yep.
Or the mist setting.
Yeah.
Like the way you use to discipline kitties.
Yeah. Well, that's more like directed water.
I guess it depends on the kitty.
Spray him with a
That's
garden
fair.
hose.
Okay.
Some
So,
kitties you just need to throw in a river instead.
yeah, you know, it's fine.
Yeah. That's what you do with cats.
I mean, that's what happened to Bag of Nails like 2 sessions ago.
That's what my dad does to misbehaving cats.
Bag of nails?
Yeah, old
the cat.
Tabaxi dude
Oh yeah.
who came in on the back of a dragon and then fell off.
Silly boy.
But yeah, so let's see. This new day. Let's see how you guys do with the whole navigation thing. Do. Okay. So let's see. You guys. Let's see. You wanted to go
So,
south
South.
today and then like northwest, right?
correct.
Yes.
Okay. So then we have. Well, I will keep that in mind. We do have an encounter that happens today. So, gasp.
Did we win?
Yes.
Yep. You won.
Yay.
You won the annihilations.
Yay! We annihilated them.
Okay. So you guys are walking through the jungle about halfway through the travel day, maybe like a little bit after you stopped for lunch, and you hear faintly off in the distance a twangy stringed instrument being plucked.
Ooh.
Uh,
What does
How-
it sound like? Fib would know.
Yeah, Fib would probably know. It definitely sounds like a banjo.
Sounds like a banjo.
How far? Like off the? Is it off the path or is it directly on our path?
I would say it's reasonably close to the area that you'll be passing through, but not like between you and your destination.
All right, I'll send Stratos in the trees to see what it is.
Okay. So you send Stratos, who is still a flying snake, right?
Yep.
Okay. Through the woods, and kind of perches up on a branch to overlook this tiny clearing. And in said clearing, you see what looks like 4 humanoids wearing kind of like medium to heavy armor. The helmet's kind of removed and set off to one side, and they are seated in kind of a circular shape. It looks like they're having a lunch break, like you guys just got off of.
Do they look like cannibals?
Well, they certainly look a little more northern, meaning like not native folk.
We can steal their lunch.
Just like the lizard folk.
We have to grunt and talk in a different language.
Oh, we're hungry.
But yeah, so one of these people seated in the group is just kind of plucking away at this weird stringed instrument that looks like the bastard child of a guitar and a snare drum.
What's a snare drum?
We have one downstairs.
Well, it's not like I study Eric's instrument.
It's a drum with the
I'll
beads
look
on
it
the
up.
bottom. It's a little drum that you hit with the drumstick, and it.
It's fine. I'll look it up. I thought
Yeah.
maybe you music people would enjoy talking about music, but I guess I'll just look it up.
I am not a music person.
You music people.
Well, by that I meant Eric.
All of you music people. All one of you music people.
Yeah.
Becca likes music.
I mean, I'm the DM, so like I have to be multiple people, so I guess it's kind of accurate.
Yeah, see, that's what I meant.
I'm
All
sure.
you people.
All the Eric people.
Yep. So, yeah, that's what you see.
Well, I will relay it to the group. Should we say hello, or should we just keep going?
Weren't the people who were with the guy who killed Tree Hugger, weren't they in like northern garb as well?
Yeah, I mean, basically, in the context of Chult, anything that is more a part of the civilized world would be considered northern. So northern, yes, but really not the same.
Is this like the same style as the people in Camp Vengeance?
It's like adjacent. I mean, you don't see any of the same like iconography around.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, you don't see any signs that they're affiliated with the Order of the Gauntlet, or Stratos doesn't see that, I suppose.
I guess I will get within message range, and I'll message the one plucking on the instrument, and I will say, let me. I'm having trouble with. I'm playing on a dresser, so.
Can you even sit?
Yeah, I'm sitting.
Oh, okay.
It's a very short dresser.
Yeah, I've got my computer sitting on top of it, and I'm sitting in a chair.
Okay.
So I'll get within 120 feet, and I'll message him, and I'll just say, "Hail, stranger. Might lonely party of adventurers join you for lunch?"
So immediately the playing stops, and this guy kind of looks around, looks at one of the other people, and says, "Did you hear that?" They all kind of look at him like, "What are you talking about?" And you get a message back in your head as he like tries to respond. Says, "Who's there?"
I'll message again, and I'll say, "I already told you, another lonely party of adventurers. Are you peaceful, or are you going to attack us as soon as we make ourselves known? We mean no harm."
"Are you cannibals?"
Message back, "No."
That's what a cannibal would say.
I'll message back, "If you promise not to shoot, I'll show myself."
Says, "All right, but I'm watching you, or I will be."
Right, I will step out with my hands up, just hood back, hands up, just kind of unassumingly, you know.
Okay. So yeah, you step forward from the brush, and the group kind of like turns and looks at you, and
I'm just gonna point at the banjo player and say, "He knows I'm here." And then hands go back to being up.
he says, "All right, so you don't look like a cannibal, but you, what are you? Some kind of goat man?"
Sure. I'm what they would call, what you would call a tiefling. If you think I'm weird, the rest of my party's, they're something else. And I'll turn and yell back, "All right, guys, you might as well come out too."
Okay.
I
And
wait
of
for
them-
everyone else to come out.
Yeah. And I'll turn back and I'll say, "None of us are here to harm you."
All right. I mean, you see, they all like they reach toward their weapons. It's not like they've got them drawn and pointed at you, or like they're taking on a combat stance or anything. But they're ready.
And as everybody's filtering out, Stratos kind of floats down from the middle of their camp and perches across my shoulder.
I will walk up happily. Like it with a happy walk. Like a happy-go-lucky kind of walk.
Okay.
Just
Basically
skips into the
most
clearing.
Scariest thing ever.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, you kind of see the whole group kind of go wide-eyed as like, strange humanoid after strange humanoid comes walking out of the forest. You've got the relatively tame Sirene. Like, yeah, she's blue and kind of fishy looking.
I
But
think
then
she looks the weirdest.
Fib would say that.
She's practically like made of water. Doesn't she have the like water hair?
Yeah.
okay. I mean, yeah, it's all weird. It's just kind of funny to me that Slender Man is saying, "I think she looks the weirdest." But yeah, so
I at least look human. I have a more human shape.
human-er.
Humaner.
Yeah, I mean, so you've got like blue humanoid with like water hair. You've got Slender Man with a pixie cut. you've got the half giant Scorn. And
And then we've got Dragon
okay,
Bait.
sorry, not half giant, but giant blooded. He is a giant kin species.
He's a big ass man looking thing.
Yeah.
What's Thorv? I always.
He's a dwarf.
Yeah.
A dwarf.
Okay.
He
And
is
then a
the
dwarf
normal
follows.
Right.
The dwarf is the most normal one of our group.
Yeah, that's
Well,
true.
we gotta
And
have
then a goblin.
Dragon Bait come out,
The goblin is
and then the
not
goblin,
normal than a dwarf.
and then the dwarf, then the human.
Yeah, we do have a
What human?
Artis.
Oh. Yeah, he's boring.
And Azaka, to be fair.
Oh yeah, Azaka too.
But yeah, so this massive group that like outnumbers these people easily 2-1 comes out of the woods, and at this point they're all like, you can see they're kind of like looking at each other like, oh shit, what did we just get into? And so the guy with the banjo says, so what the hell are you doing out here?
We are on our way to, and I don't have my notes. What was the place called?
Oralunga.
Yes, we are on our way to Oralunga to talk with a seer or a prophet of some sort. And you're the first non-aggressive people or things that we've met in this jungle. So we were hoping to possibly
It's not
exchange
true.
information.
Shut up, Serenade.
He kind of nods and says, "All right. Well, first things first. You have papers?
Papers for what?
Okay. So he kind of like stands up, sets down the banjo, and
Fib
says,
eyes it. Lovely.
"Okay."
Fib knows she could play the banjo better than he was.
Fib wants to play that banjo so badly.
He says, well, this whole territory, this peninsula of Chult, is hereby claimed by the Flaming Fist, and so I need to see your writs of exploration.
Our writs?
That's yeah. We were unaware that that was the case. In fact, we actually came out of Port Nyanzaru. We're looking to find the reason for, well, I'm sure you know what's going on.
He says, you're talking about the death curse.
Yep.
Well, I do know what's going on, but rules are rules.
Where do we get these papers?
Well, it should have been, like, the first thing you did when you got here. Now you're gonna have to go way in the hell out of your way. Up north
Well, maybe someone should have told us that.
Wait, where do we get these papers?
He says it's up near the northern tip of the peninsula. Fort Belorian.
Huh. Do you guys have any ties to the people over at Camp Vengeance, by any chance?
I've heard of the place. That's about it.
Oh. Well, they've actually laid claim to an area around here as well. And I will make a deception check if you would like.
I mean, like, technically, it's not deception.
Oh.
Because they did set up a camp and kind of, like, fortify it and stuff, so. So, you tell him this. And, yeah. Is that just kind of what you're getting at? Like, hey, there's other people here challenging your
Yes.
Jurisdiction kind of thing?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, he
Is
says...
someone clipping their nails?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't able to hear that. Sorry.
I've gotten yelled at before. About that before.
Yeah, and so the guy says, yeah, we are aware of them. We're trying to set up some of our own fortified locations before we move on that.
Well, and I'll pull out my map that I have kind of written up and, mapped of the area, and I'll say, well, I'd be willing to share what I have mapped with you in exchange for possibly overlooking the fact that we don't have papers today. However, we will be heading out to go get papers. And I apologize for any confusion or any issues that may arise, but
he kind of looks at the rest of his group and says, well, there are certain costs associated with surviving out here in the wilderness and filing paperwork and such, and well, to be honest, we do have something of a quota to meet. He kind of like approaches a little bit and not so subtly holds out a hand, open palm.
I'll say, well, how about we offer you fresh drinking water, all that you can carry, leech free guaranteed.
Okay, he looks back at the group, and a couple of them kind of shrug, and they seem amenable to the idea, and he says, "All right, I suppose that'll work. Save us a trip back to the basin."
So I'll look back at Sirenny, and I'll say, well, do you want to use the jug, or...
Are we still by the river?
So let me have a look here. I mean, you're not by the Soshin Star anymore. I just want
By
to...
a body of water.
Yeah, I
That
am
seems
looking.
clean and such.
You are you are not by any bodies of water at the moment.
Okay. Let me check something. I'm going to use a spell.
Okay.
Where I shall create water, not destroy it.
Okay.
So, I'll tell them to give me open containers and
Right.
I'll just fill them all.
Okay. Cool. So yeah, you supply them with actually more than enough clean
I
drinking
fill
water
up
for the day.
ours too.
Actually, you don't have that much room because in the jungle like this, people go through like 2 gallons a day,
Hmm.
and so you've got basically 8 gallons that you got to give away. So you can like top off one person's water supply, but I mean, ultimately, I'm not making such a huge deal out of it because you
Yeah.
have the jug.
I'll hand Sierne just an empty vial that I have. Because I had, I think it was 5 empty vials in my scholar's pack.
Okay.
And I'll just say, fill this up, that way you have some extra water in case you need it for any spell components.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay. And yeah, so as the last of the vessels are kind of filled up, they close everything up, and the banjo man just kind of looks at you and says, "All right, now you all go get that paperwork. I don't want any more illegals in my territory."
Right away. And I'll say, by the way, do you happen to have any information on what's to the west? To the west of here?
Hmm. He strokes his chin and says, "Haven't been too much farther to the west, but from what I've seen, it's more of the same."
Well, I know there's at least some form of settlement to the west. And if you would like us to, we can go plot out that, fill our map in, and then we will head directly to Fort Belurian and report our findings. That way, it'll save you guys from having to scout that far.
He kind of thinks about that for a second and says, I mean, to be honest, it really doesn't make much difference to me. I get paid the same no matter where I'm exploring or whatever. I mean, honestly, I'd say the best thing you could do is just go about your business and leave some work for us.
Will do. By the way, then I'll kind of point off in the direction of Umbala, and I'll say there's supposedly an abandoned city or town in that direction, up on a big hill. There's some sort of an old hag lady something that lives up there that causes people to disappear. So I would recommend steering clear of that if at all possible. At least without some backup.
Says, all right, well, thank you for the information.
You're welcome, and thank you for allowing us to pass.
I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't see anybody here. He looks back at the group. Did you? They all kind of just shake their heads no.
And with that, I walk into the forest and I'm gone. Or into the jungle.
I like this guy.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm just really confused about why we talked to them.
To give away some water.
I'm all for giving away water, but
Well,
I
just
just-
in case they knew something about what was west of here.
Yeah, I was gonna say as we're walking away, I'll kind of walk next to Sierne and I'll say, "Sorry for putting you on the spot like that. I was hoping those guys would be a little more useful, but turns out they're just another bunch of brain dead militarized people laying claim to a bunch of trees."
You said not to trust people, so I didn't want to show them the jug.
That's a fair point.
It'll come in handy if we can use them somehow later, though.
Yes. Plus, we know that Fort Balurian is at least somewhat civilized, if not very bright.
It's a little racist, you know.
It's to be expected in these parts.
Oh, that guy. I thought you meant the fort was racist. Like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, just a little ignorant.
Okay. So you guys continue on your way, and the rest of this day goes by uneventfully. Excuse me, my voice just gave out. Uneventfully.
Do we get XP for that encounter because we concluded it peacefully?
If you don't
Um,
give it to us, we'll kill them next time.
Maybe.
Anyways, I'm gonna keep giving them water.
Okay. So you reach the end of the day, and you get your long rest in. So you know, spell slots that you used and all that come back, and the next day is rainy again. So it's a little cooler, a little more manageable. Let's make a navigation check. All right. So it is at this point that you realize you got a little bit turned around,
Mm-hmm.
Damn it.
but you're only like right there, so it's not terrible.
Oh, okay. So we just got turned around after the encounter with those guys. And...
Yeah, more or less.
They
But-
messed us up.
You are confident now in your bearings, and I assume the idea would then be to shoot for the place where you thought you were, right?
Yep.
Okay. So
Why are we paying Azaki for this? She's not doing anything.
We're not paying her.
Yeah, I know, but like, why is she even here?
yeah, you have a verbal contract with Azaka.
I'm sick of her saying she's a guide and getting us lost.
Actually, it's kind of Scorn that's acting as the guy, and she's just kind of helping.
Yeah,
But-
well, she should
well-
do better.
She's
We'll
giving
probably
me
get lost
advantage.
like twice as many more times as we
Yeah.
would.
She's
She
giving
gives
me
us-
advantage.
She gives us information about the area too, which is always useful.
Yes, and
Yeah.
the local wildlife and other stuff.
And her name is cool.
And she's a burden to us.
Oh.
No, she's not. She like we don't have to do anything for her.
We had to go
Well, we do.
back to the camp for her.
We were going there.
They kept her
anyway.
prisoner.
Well, that's
That was
not
the
like
camp.
did-
They were going. They were
We
going
did get to kill that
to
guy.
prisoner.
We took
Yeah.
care of that problem too.
Right. That's not her fault that that guy was an asshole.
I mean, he
Like-
speaks the truth.
If it weren't for her, one of us might have had to stick around.
I
Yeah.
think he wanted tyranny,
Yeah, he
Yeah.
wanted me.
Yeah.
so if anything, Azaka's been useful to keep us with a healer and fresh water.
Whatever.
Azaka will remember that.
Azaki.
No.
Azaki. I feel like that's what Banjo guy would call her. What's your name?
Who called her
Azaki?
Azaki?
Yeah, who did that?
Was it me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, you know.
Okay. So you guys take off from camp, and probably not more than like half hour or so into the trip, you are walking through the jungle, and kind of just suddenly finding yourself amidst this group of creatures. You look around and you see there are at least 2, maybe 3, or maybe there are some that you don't see, like large lizards. We're talking like they look like iguanas, but they're the size of horses. Just
So,
kind
like,
of
big crocodiles.
Kind of. I mean, they don't have the death trap of a mouth that a crocodile has, but
Is Obi-Wan riding any of them?
no, you do not see any Jedi around. But yeah, they're kind of just like lying flat, and you notice as you look around, each of them seems to have kind of found a patch of sunlight to lay in. So it's kind of like being, doused a little bit by the rain, but at the same time trying to, each one's trying to sun itself a little bit. And one of them kind of like lazily opens its eyes and looks over at you guys as you're walking by. Just kind of like cocks its head and settles back down.
It's like, oh look, a person.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not being aggressive or anything.
No, I mean there's kind of like that moment of, oh shit, there's something here, and then
If there were less of them, we could kill them and eat them.
Do they look dangerous? Like,
I mean, as
um
dangerous as a giant lizard would be.
right?
yeah, I mean it's a lizard the
mean,
size of a horse, but like you don't see, they don't seem to have wings. You don't see like smoke pouring out of their mouths like they could breathe fire at you or anything.
Okay.
And they really don't seem to give a shit about us existing here, other than
Maybe
the fact that we are here.
maybe lizards know where Orlanga is.
Well, I can't really talk to lizards. That's kind of more your thing. Can you talk to them?
I know I'm saying I can talk to them.
Oh, sure.
I was just seeing if I don't know. Okay.
Ritual?
Right, just go talk to them then.
Quiet, I'm trying to do my ritual.
See if they can give us a ride there, if they know where it's at.
Aren't you riding on Blue Boy
No, he's too young.
No, he was too small,
for a dwarf?
apparently.
Yeah, just a little bit. I mean,
Maybe.
it would be like trying to ride a person through the jungle.
Oh,
I
well,
was thinking like a Shetland pony.
But yeah, okay. So you take some time and cast Speak with Animals. The lizard's just kind of like hanging out and watching as you do this. Not really actively engaging at all. Just kind of watching you there. And so the ritual happens. You have the spell up. So what do you do?
So I just say to the nearest one, hello, lizards. My name's Scorn. I mean you no harm.
Okay. So they all kind of like you see them probably give you the most attention that you've gotten thus far, as they're finally able to understand, and so they all seem kind of like tuned into you.
Okay. We are seeking other humanoids like us somewhere that way, or where the sun rises. Do you know of any groups of humanoids who stay that way? Like buildings? Anything?
They kind of look at one another and they say that one of them like says to you, creature on 2 legs like you?
Yes.
Thanks for a moment. Tiny ones. Travel alone. Sit on tree branches. Looks around and says, angry ones travel together. Not sure where home. And let's see. Yeah, I think that's about all he's really got. There doesn't seem to be anything like directional about what the lizard is telling you. It's just like, here's what I've seen kind of passing through here.
Okay. Alright, well, thank you for this information. And I said everyone else, they don't know anything, so let's just go. I think they talk about monkeys that we'd fight before and lizard folk being... That's the only thing they seem to know about. And we already know this, so...
Well, that was a good use of our time.
Yes, I agree. Alright, let's go.
Okay. So the next, the rest of the day and the following day go by uneventfully. So let's get some traveling done here. Alright, so you can clear this. And then next day is rainy, and you do your navigation thing. And you end up there. Okay. And so I think the plan here is keep going northwest, right?
Yes.
Okay. So new day. Okay, the rain kicks up even more to the point that there are like strong driving gusts of wind that are starting to bend and snap some of the more frail trees around. You guys are basically hiking through a tropical storm right now.
Maybe we should find a shelter? Preferably
Sure.
a robust one.
Okay. I'd like somebody to make a survival check, probably Scorn, I guess. We could just call it another, like, navigation type check, because I'm sure Azaka would help you.
She's so nice.
So let's see.
It's good that we have Azaki here.
I know, right?
Yeah, thing.
Okay. So between the two of you, you're able to kind of find almost like a little like root cave kind of situation, like down between the roots of one of the more sizable trees of the jungle. You kind of find this like little dirt cavern that kind of like it goes underground. But then you find a spot where it sort of ascends up into what is kind of like a raised mound of earth. So it's large enough and elevated enough that you're reasonably sure you won't get flooded out. And so you guys just want to kind of hang tight for the duration of the storm.
I'm gonna look around while the storm's going on, see if there's anything worth mining out of this cave eventually. Just to see if it'd be a good spot to mine.
Okay.
Come back at some point and mine. More dwarves or something.
Alright. Let's see. So... first of all, I want to do this. Alright. So... You look around and trying to like size up the minerals and such around here, you actually you stumble upon a pretty carefully disguised trapdoor. Not like large enough for a person to pass through, but it, looking at it from the outside, it's probably like 2 feet by 2 feet. And colored in such a way as to match the like the dark soil and like darker stone that form the cave.
I'll point this out to everybody else. Like, hey, over here.
I go over.
Yep.
Look at this.
I'll also check it out.
I'll pull it open. Or try and pull it open.
Okay. Yeah, so you find a way to kind of like, wedge something in and just pop the thing open a little bit. And yeah, it's a bit of a struggle, but eventually you just almost rip the door off of its like crude wooden hinge. And inside you find you find a couple things. So kind of along the bottom of this little compartment that you have now opened, you see a scrap of tanned dinosaur hide. Some of the scales still, like partially attached to it. And scrawled onto this hide, kind of like scraped and carved into it, is a crude map that seems to have markings at your current location, as well as a path, basically the same path that you followed up the River Soshin Star, terminating at Port Nyanzaru. And also, kind of in the opposite direction, or... well, I guess most importantly, in the direction that you're traveling, there is a kind of triangular shape, almost like kind of like stair-step pyramid shaped, that is visible. Let's see, make sure I do this right. Right here. You see that?
No.
Yep.
No,
Right
it's not
where?
Like a square.
Where?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'll hand the map to Lucius and say, here, this may be useful to you.
All right. Yeah, I'll take it and I'll record anything that we don't have.
Okay. Cool. So then, actually,
Does it look like this place has been lived in, or is it like it was at one point lived in and then kind of abandoned?
Or is it just like a hidey hole for someone?
It kind of has a hidey hole vibe.
Okay, so it's not like there's no still warm campfire or anything.
Yeah, no. This looks more like possibly
Oh, crap,
in.
there's a tropical storm. Let's hide in here.
Yeah, like maybe you're not the first one to have that idea, right? But yeah. So actually, let me clear some tiles for you guys.
Oh, thanks.
Oh shit.
I feel like that might be where we want to go.
Yeah, I'm getting the same feeling. It's not labeled, correct?
Not on the map, no.
All right. Well, yeah, that's probably about our best chance because it's something.
What else is in this hidey hole?
So, Beyond that, you look in and kind of tucked away in one corner. Let's see. There is a tiny, like leather pouch that is empty.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I imagine you guys hang out here, ride out the storm, and
How long does the storm last?
basically through the day.
Okay.
So, yeah, the rest of the day goes by. You hang out, plan, and whatnot.
If it's wet in here, can I use my destroy water to kind of like pull the water out and destroy it so it's drier?
Yeah, I mean, it's... Yeah, so I think the portion that you guys are kind of holed up in doesn't flood. Like the
Yeah, I'm just saying like if it's like uncomfortably damp or something.
Oh, okay, I gotcha. So really fine tuning for luxurious underground living. I gotcha.
Yeah. I mean, I have nothing
Okay.
better to do.
That's fair. Yeah, so you do what you can and kind of like dry out the soil and stuff to at least make it comfortable for sleeping and whatnot. Yeah. And so you do that. You crash out for the night. And while you can still make out the faintest sound of rain outside, the roaring, whistling winds that kind of had you pinned down here for the better part of a day seem to have subsided. And so, yeah, I mean, peeking your heads out, there's like the faintest drizzle coming down, but the worst of it is definitely gone.
You should mark this spot, especially on your map.
I will do that as soon as the party marker moves out of the spot.
Well, I'm telling Taylor, but
Oh, okay.
What did you want me to do?
mark this spot especially.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We will do that.
Okay. So, onward to the mysterious map marker.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay. So, let's see. What do we have lined up for today? Alright. So, you are traveling through the jungle, and as you are kind of sloshing through what is looking to be kind of you're kind of walking along the banks of what looks like a kind of tributary a river of sorts, sloshing through the mud and looking, listening, keeping a careful eye out. You eventually hear what sounds like the clacking of some sort of item that might have been strung across or hung from some sort of something intentionally hung. So maybe wooden items clacking together, or bone, something along those lines. And it's coming from up ahead, kind of like if you were to follow this this river that you were walking along, you would probably find the source of the noise.
Approximately how far?
Probably like, we'll say 200 to 300 feet up and kind of like around a small bend.
I'll get up to like, assuming there's no like traps or anything. I'll get up to the edge of the bend and I'll send Stratos around the bend, up in the trees to take a look.
Okay. So, yeah, I just head up there, and you don't step into any traps, first of all. But Stratos then heads up and around and begins scouting the area out. And, yeah, you see kind of hanging, like, separately from a few of the trees, and then also draped across, like, kind of hanging 10-15 feet above the running water of the river. These what look like tooth and bone, like trinkets, basically. And as the wind kind of blows and the rain comes down, they swing and clack off of each other.
Does it look like there's just a couple isolated, or are they kind of strewn throughout the river? Because like they're over the river, right?
Yeah, so imagine like a big, almost like a rope threaded through a bunch of like bone items that are kind of just blowing and clacking and scraping off of each other. Some of them like carved into different shapes. You know, you see one that's like, looks like it's the visual representation of like almost like a frog man. You look at like another one, and it's a familiar shape of some of the statues that you've run into in your travels across Chult. Like a kind of humanoid with a maze carved into its chest or something like that, like a representation of Ubtao, the ancient Chultan god, and like some other assorted animals and things just carved from the tooth and bone that's kind of hanging here on display.
Are they rough carved, or are they pretty pretty good quality?
I would say they're on the rougher side.
Okay, so I will turn to the group and I'll say, well, it looks like we've got some sort of what I would guess to be tribals have strung a bunch of bones across the river, and it looks like they're representing most of the Chultan gods. Do I see the alligator man?
Yeah, you'd probably see that among many other things.
All right. I'll look to Artis and to Scorin, and I'll say, if we encounter these guys, do we want to try to make them think that they're in the presence of a god? It might be easier than communicating with them.
You think pretending to be a god easy?
No,
Easy for you.
I'm just saying, do we want to go that route? Because
No.
okay,
I don't mind this idea.
Don't mess with the gods.
I
we're
think
not
it'd be
messing
fine.
with it. But okay,
They would give us what we
Seems
wanted
like-
easier.
I'm pretty sure
High risk,
impersonating
high
a god
reward.
is messing with them, but
I mean, it's not. They don't know that.
mm,
But if they do,
Why would the guys?
Because maybe we don't know enough. Like maybe in their religion, the gods are all considered dead. You know.
So tell them that they're not. It's not a big deal.
Well, they wouldn't believe us if they believe their gods are dead, and we try to say we are their gods. We are assuming these people are much stupider, like very stupid.
Yeah, that's what I assume.
Most.
Big stupid.
Trust me, most people who blindly follow a god are pretty stupid.
They might also try and kill him too. Just
That's a good point.
So we'll kill them.
This is my point. We don't know anything about this religion.
I was just
And they-
saying we
even-
could
and
keep it in the
even-
back pocket.
Even if Azaka knows things, that maybe they follow it different than Azaka knows.
So we'll just tell them they're wrong.
Okay, well, you go ahead and march up there pretending to be God, but I will go.
It wasn't my idea.
Well, you seem to think it's a great idea.
For someone else to do.
Okay, well, you are cowards and to encourage ideas that I'm willing to follow through with.
Oh, I would very well do it. And I can. I need an alligator. Or crocodile. But
I see.
But okay, I mean, if you don't want to do it, then that's
If you're
about
too
the end
much
of
of
it.
a coward to do it, that's fine.
I just don't understand why we can't just go talk to them.
We can. I just was saying maybe we could keep them, keep it in our back pocket in case they get hostile. Have a god come in, shock them, and then we can all get away.
You need to learn to relax, Scorn. You don't get so worked up about
You
things.
need to learn to be more wary. I'm not getting worked up. I am explaining my point of view.
I know. It's okay.
You may try your best to be infuriating, but you can stay calm.
All right, fair point. I just thought I'd throw it out there.
Okay. Have we seen actual people though? Like, do we even?
No, they're just like these dangling bone tokens.
Okay. Well, maybe send Stratos first, see if there's even anybody here. This might just be a, idle setup that they travel to once a month or something.
All right, I'll send
There was
Stratos
a
ahead.
pun in there.
There was.
Okay. So sending Stratos.
Yeah, I'll kind of keep Stratos like at the reaches of where I can communicate with him, and I'll just have him kind of scouting.
Okay. Cool. So, oh, I have everybody else's here. What is, oh, wait, never mind. I have it right here. I was gonna ask somebody about the character's thing, but I can see the things. Alright. So, as we'll call it a heated discussion between Fib and Scorn kind of comes to its conclusion. Both of those people, interestingly enough, hear sounds coming from up ahead. So there's a little bit of like faint snapping of twigs and stuff, but you also hear almost like hushed croaking sounds.
Ooh. Quiet, Scorn. Don't you hear that?
Of course, I hear that. I mean, yeah, I turned to everyone else. Listen.
And there's like kind of like a plunk sound from somewhere around the river.
It's time to climb up a tree.
I mean, if that's a thing you want to do, you could do that.
Gromad does that for sure.
Okay. So, yeah, give me, we'll say an athletics check to climb. Okay. So yeah, you scramble your way up a tree, as does Fib. So we'll make sure we get you guys kind of situated in tree-like locales here. And so as Groilmod kind of reaches a point on the tree where he can kind of just head out onto a branch a little bit and survey the location, he his head reaches just like that level and peeks up, and as he looks, he sees there's already somebody there on his branch, and it is in fact a little green frogman with like black speckles across his kind of slimy looking skin. Big, pure black eyes, and just kind of like cocks its head and then blinks like sideways with the perpendicular eyelids. It just goes.
Sorry, wrong tree.
And then you do that, and it kind of like looks back away from you, and ribbits like louder, and you hear a bunch more of the same sound from like all around you. And there's like some from behind you even.
At this point, I'm kind of like nudging Scorn. I'm saying, talk to them, talk to them.
These not beasts, right? Aren't they like humanoid, or are they just frogs?
They do have humanoid features. It wouldn't be super far-fetched to think that maybe that's what they would classify as.
All right, fine. As soon as he says that, I'll just boom cast comprehend languages.
Okay, so yeah, you you cast that like instantaneously, and yeah, so as soon as the spell takes hold, the sounds change from just to variations of intruders to battle. Yeah.
I will look very worried, and I'll say, we need to go now. They think we're intruders.
Might be a little late for that.
I'm just gonna hold my hands up, like in a surrender motion, and I will say in slow, common, if you understand us, we did not mean to intrude. We will leave. I am sorry.
Okay, let's see. So, the same one that is like on the same branch as Gromod looks down, and again, like this like sideways blink thing, and everybody else just hears another, but Lucius, you hear, I think this one's trying to cast a spell on me.
Ah, fuck.
I say to Lucius, okay, maybe we pretend to be God now?
You didn't like the plan.
It's a little late for that.
Okay, and so you start hearing like a number of like bloop bloop as a bunch of like little green heads start poking up from various points along the river.
I just kind of throw my hands up. I go, all right, I don't know. Scorn, it's up to you to try to talk to them. They don't understand me.
I told you they're not beasts. I can't speak to them any better than you can.
Well, they think I'm trying to cast a spell on them.
Oh, well, were you?
No!
That seems like something you do. Then let's just leave. Why don't we just walk away? Why are we
Well, let's go.
Oh, okay. Let's go.
Fib jumps out of her tree.
Okay.
Yeah, Gromod gets out of the tree and starts following after them and maybe runs past them.
Okay.
What I'll do is, as we're walking away, I'm gonna reach in and fish out one more ration that I have, and just kind of throw the meat on the ground, like, you know, not like threateningly, just kind of set it on the ground as we're walking.
Okay.
And I'll just
As
I'm
if
out.
they're animals, and they'll be satisfied with that.
Well, no, I'm just. It's more of a peace offering kind of thing, but
Here, have one shitty meal.
that's all I can offer.
Okay. So you just like turn and haul ass out of there
Mm-hmm.
as a group.
Yeah. I
Okay.
think so. I mean, that's what I do.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, the one watches you all like descend from the tree and take off, and you hear kind of in the trees behind you, like every once in a while, there's just kind of like a loud snapping or popping or whatever. Anybody who looks back might see every once in a while just a little frogman shape hopping from tree to tree, like sticking to each trunk as it just like Spider-Man's its way through the jungle. It's keeping an eye on you. It's like
These
keeping
are,
a healthy
like-
distance.
These are like frog squirrels.
No, they're like tree frog men.
Yeah, basically.
How big are they?
They are small creatures.
Well, they're like frog squirrels. Big
They're like
frog squirrels.
I assume they're like gnome-sized or dwarf-sized.
Smaller than a dwarf, probably about on par with like a gnome halfling, somewhere in there.
Maybe
And
me
what's
sized.
smaller?
Or a goblin.
Yeah.
And what's smaller than a dwarf? A squirrel.
You know what? Is there one that's kind of closer to us?
I mean, there's that same one that thought you were trying to cast a spell on it. That's been like following you in the treetops.
I'm just gonna, as we're still walking away, I'm gonna subtly point at it and cast message at it. I'm
Cast
just
a
gonna.
spell at it.
No, all it's gonna see is like, if anything, it'll see me point.
Mhm. You have me
At it.
point with your copper wire.
No, all I have to do is have copper wire and point.
Mm-hmm. Copper
Okay.
point.
And I will say, we mean no harm. I'm sorry, we are leaving.
Okay. So yeah, you do that, and then it like visibly kind of recoils a little bit, hearing the voice and seeing you like pointing at it. And again, everybody else hears Lucius, you hear, I fucking told you.
These are cussing frogs.
And
Point with your copper wire.
okay, so you do that, and then it it like angrily gestures at you with this like crudely carved dagger.
I don't even look like scared. I'm just disappointed.
Okay, it throws its dagger at you.
That's fine.
What's your AC?
Definitely not that.
Okay, so yeah, you take that damage, 4 points of piercing, 3 points of poison.
Oh, that's a lot for a crudely crafted dagger.
I'll turn around and yell at him.
It angrily shakes its fist at you.
I flip him off.
So I assume its dagger is like sticking in me.
Yeah.
Dagger.
I'll just kind of pull it out of me and just kind of drop it on the ground and just keep walking.
Okay, you could have had another dagger, but I guess
Yeah,
you
I'll pick that up.
Okay.
Good.
All right. Yeah, and just amidst this cacophony of you guys head back the way you came. Okay.
Yeah.
Our dog is dying.
Hacking up a hairball.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll look over to Sirenny. Ow. Can you please heal me?
Should
Maybe
I
you shouldn't have
use
pushed
word
someone.
or cure wounds?
Well, clearly you should do cure wounds.
Oh, geez. Yeah. All right. I'm back.
There you go.
How much less would he have gotten with healing word? 6 less.
That wouldn't have maxed me.
4.
That actually would have maxed me.
Yeah, but you would. How did you heal him? Did you slap him?
I just kind of shook my head and touched him.
Oh, well, alright.
So, were they in a pond or a lake, or were they just kind of? Or was it a river?
So you guys are walking along this like tiny, almost like tributary kind of river, and so some of them were like popping up from the water. Some of them had climbed up onto like small rocks in the river and were just like standing there, just kind of shouting you down.
Rude.
They sound really cute.
Yeah, except they throw poison daggers.
Yeah, there's
Fine.
that.
So about how many did we see there, guys?
Let's have people make retroactive perception checks to see if you guys are able to pick out how many different frogmen were shouting you down. Okay, more than half a dozen.
Ugh. Yeah, that could have been bad.
Well, we got the
Could've
one dagger
taken
now.
it.
I couldn't
You
take
just
too
threw a
many more.
dagger.
Though. Yeah, that one hurt.
I'll be a baby.
That's kind of the name of wizard.
They've partially depleted their ammo supply.
I
Yeah,
don't know
just
how
go-
many daggers they have.
Yeah, just go try that a few more times, and then they can't attack us anymore very easily.
Good plan.
We'll just put our pincushion up and
Why don't you go,
use them
Lucius?
all.
No.
But
No,
you
I'm
take
good.
daggers so well.
Did you like the dagger?
We should have went with the crocodile idea.
I don't know. Maybe
I
I,
feel
don't know
like
if
that
little
one and
tree
that one.
frog like crocodile.
So, I'm just gonna draw a big red X on the on the map over that area.
That's a big ol' nope.
Yep.
Okay.
You don't want to go back there?
Oh,
No.
I want to go back there. They
Go
hit my...
for it.
Let's go.
Go
We have
for
a
it.
free source of daggers.
They're poison daggers too.
Yeah.
Have fun. I'll see you guys. I'm just walking back the way we came.
Okay.
You're going the wrong way. We're going the other way.
I'm not going back in there.
Well, that's the way we need to go.
Wait, did we not walk past them? I thought, like, that's done with. Now we can keep going.
So yeah, basically you like pulled back out of the encounter, and I mean,
Shoot.
yeah, you can like you could probably navigate your way around.
Okay,
They're
yeah,
so
that's
cute.
that's what I'm trying to do.
Told you.
I
Yeah,
love them.
yeah, those are grung.
They're squirrel frogs.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't see that.
You don't see it.
No.
That they're
Was it
small
a-
frogs.
It's in the Discord.
Oh, that would be why I don't see it. Oh,
See how cute?
yeah, but they're little assholes.
Why?
Because they threw a dagger at me.
Yeah, but you'll get over it.
It's not
I
their
mean, you're
fault
already
either,
over it.
shield spell.
You're the one who cast a spell at them.
I did not.
You pointed at them with your copper wire.
I pointed at him with my finger.
And your copper wire.
No, I have a copper wire around my wrist. I have a wristband of copper wire.
So I mean, I think that would mean that all of your pointing is done with copper wire, but
But it's not like I'm pointing a copper wire at them.
I
anyway.
mean,
So yeah, you guys pull back, and I mean, we'll say that you like try and find a way around, I suppose, which actually isn't really much of a problem, as the survival check for today was really fucking good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So you end up going away from the river a little bit, and so I think fictionally it would probably make the most sense for you guys to be like here at the end of the day, which doesn't really affect your travel time.
Where we moved on the map.
Oh, I was waiting for a ping.
Yeah.
I always forget that there's like a little party thing.
But yeah, so end of the day, that is where you guys find yourselves. And the evening goes by without any issue.
Yay.
So get your long rest in, all that good stuff. And you wake up to a new day. Another rainy day. And you attempt to not get lost. And you're pretty confident that you are not lost. But I guess we'll see. So
I'm never confident that we're not lost.
that's fair.
I feel like Fib is not confident in anything except her performing abilities.
And her killing abilities. She's pretty confident in your guys' killing abilities too.
Now.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I imagine Fib is not the whole take it on faith kind of person.
Oh no.
Okay.
I think we might need a break.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. So let's take a break before we get into whatever encounter you guys are going to have today.
Before our
Yay.
dog dies.
Yeah. Okay.
Question for you, Eric.
Yeah.
Would it be cool if I run and scoot out at this point then? Because I want to hit the hot tub and stuff one more time.
Yeah,
You're
I
choosing the hot
guess.
tub over D&D.
Well,
Filthy casual.
yeah,
Heh.
a little bit.
Just play on your phone in the hot tub.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's raining like a bitch out there, but I still want to hit the hot tub.
What the? That does not sound pleasant.
You're gonna get wet in the hot tub, so who gives a shit if you
Yeah,
get
but
wet?
then you're gonna get cold wet as soon as you get out.
Yeah.
It's
And
like
also, like,
60 degrees
so
out.
your head's gonna be cold and your body will be way too warm.
I'll be fine.
That
I
actually.
mean, I'm sure you'll be fine. I'm just questioning the comfort of this hot tub.
Oh, it'll be fine.
Is the hot tub outside or inside?
Just barely outside. It's like 5 steps outside.
The rain doesn't care.
But I did it last night and it wasn't a big deal. But I
You're
also
not
have to get
supposed to use a hot tub while it's raining. It throws off the chemical balance.
I
Yeah,
don't.
you idiot.
Yeah, I guess. Whatever.
Okay. Well, yeah, sure. Have fun with your hot tub.
All right. And
What if
yeah.
Eric had told you that you can't go?
Yeah.
Denied.
You have
But
to
I probably-
listen to him because he's your dungeon master.
Well, I was gonna say I probably would have done it anyway, just because fuck the system.
Wow.
Whoa.
Don't you can't cuss at your dungeon master.
I'm not.
I
Wow.
heard you just now. I'd be careful of what happens to your character while you're gone.
Oh, I know he's gonna get killed.
Yeah, I'm gonna make it my goal. Just kidding. Since I'm not DMing, I don't care.
And unless Eric has changed his name legally to the system, I did not just say fuck him.
I mean, you don't know.
Yeah.
You're right, I don't know. Although you would have to be angry at System of a Down too.
Rude.
but
Rude as
they-
heck. Taylor, stop it.
I mean, I'm angry at all their drama with like, are we gonna make a new album? Are we not? But that's about as
They
far
gonna
as it
make a
goes.
Find out next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Are they gonna make a new album?
We don't know.
They're
Why
arguing
not?
about it.
Are you arguing about it with?
Yes.
Anyway.
That's rude.
So yeah,
I
break
will
time.
see you guys- Yes.
Well, you won't even be able to record it then.
I'm not recording anyway.
Yeah, I'm recording.
Oh,
I can't record. Not from this computer.
you're fancy.
Alright. Have fun, don't die.
If
Yeah, you
listen
too.
to Ebron renewed, you would understand my copper wire reference.
Well, I might. So
It's fine.
Why not critical role?
I
don't care about
probably
critical
am
role.
going to. All right. I.
Bye.
Bye.